What's up? Happy Thursday, y'all. Welcome to Valley Vision. I'm Abby Alonso. Joe Mitchell is producing. Of course, we got to shout out our sponsor, St. Rock. I've been getting a lot of questions. Where can I find the vodka? I really want to try the vodka. Okay, we didn't give y'all that information, so I'm going to give it to you right now. If you're in NOLA, it's at Dorgnac's, Total Wine, Rouse's. Up here in Baton Rouge, there's a couple liquor stores. I think Hocus Pocus carries it, as well as Total Wine, Rouse's. We're trying to get it in a lot of different stores. But your best bet is to scan this QR code. Hold on. Yeah, maybe I should have grabbed it before we started. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. But pause the video, scan the QR code. You can order it. It's pretty inexpensive for really good vodka. And you're supporting the LSU athletes. I can't tell you enough how good of an idea that is. Support the LSU athletes that you like to watch, that we talk about every day. Be a part of giving back to the NIL. They're partnered with Bayou Traditions. It's going straight to the athletes. And you get to drink really good vodka. I don't see a lose here for anybody. Let me put it back. Okay. You ready to roll? Oh, also, I have a really cool hat on. Probably can't see my eyes right now. The lights just aren't allowing for that. But I wanted to show off the hat. It says, "Blame it all on my roots." If you're any type of LSU fan, you should know the artist of this song, Mr. Garth Brooks. Thought it was a cool hat to wear on an LSU sports show because these are some of his lyrics. So shout out to Bottom Shelf Caps for sending me an awesome trucker hat. Big hat girl, bad hair days. It works. It's fitting. But I am going to spin it backwards now so that you can actually see. I do have eyes, all right? All right, now to the sports talk, what everybody tunes in for. Men's basketball, dude. Men's basketball went off last night. Jordan Wright went off last night. They earned their first ranked win of the season against Ole Miss. They were ranked 22. Upset, obviously. You come off that loss to Auburn, unsure of how this is going to pan out. I can tell you that now it was not a crowded PMAC. Shout out to the student section, though, because they showed up. It was packed to the rim. They were loud. The energy built throughout the game. And Jordan Wright actually said after the game how excited he was to see that energy can be there and to see how it pans out over the rest of the season. Hopefully for the next time they play a ranked opponent, you would hope that it's a packed arena, right? Because it wasn't last night. Now, benefit of the doubt to the fans, it was freaking freezing. The walk to the PMAC was horrible. That was my Vietnam right there. I was miserable. You're laughing, but it was not good. But once we were in, it was a show for sure. They are now 11-6 overall. They're 3-1 in SEC play. Last year, they only had 2 wins in the SEC, so they're already off to a better start. Still lots of season to play. I think everybody's pretty pumped about seeing what they're capable of doing. They went into the half. It was a lot closer in the first half. They went into the half leading 35-33. Even after shooting only 41.4% in that first half, they cleaned it up, turned it around. Not turned it around because they were winning, but I mean just came out firing in the second half. They shot above 50%. They never really ran away with it, but it was much better gameplay all the way around.
I will add here. Mm-hmm. Sorry, would you like me not to? I will say I think it's awesome to look at the last 2 games and see Jalen Cook kind of struggle a little bit, but the team not. That's awesome. Derek Fountain, Tyrell Ward had huge days, well as Jordan Wright, obviously.
So you look at the numbers, and we're about to get to the numbers, but like Tyrell Ward had 3 threes back to back to back. And, like, every time he hit a 3, the PMAC just got louder and louder. You can tell that the fans were feeding off the energy and the players were feeding off the fans' energy. That is something we've talked about. You know, we actually talked about it with women's basketball. When Michaela Williams is off, it looks like the Tigers struggle a little bit more. Jalen Cook not being the guy to put up all the points last night was a huge progression for this team, I think, because you were kind of waiting that he'd be able to play again to try to help the offense, and to not have him have his best night and still down a ranked opponent is a big win for Matt McMahon and this team. Ole Miss never got closer than 5 points in the final 10 minutes. And we talk about numbers. Jordan Wright. His time at Vanderbilt, he was a little bit more of a glue guy, right? Had the presence, a leader, put in some work. But, I mean, last night it was the Jordan Wright show. We've posted his stats everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, like 4 graphics on Instagram, rightfully so. Jordan, if you're watching, beautiful performance. He had 27 points, game high, 7 rebounds, 7 steals, and 5 assists. So not just the points being a wow factor in themselves, but the defense to be able to do it on both sides. Now, there were a lot of steals and a lot of turnovers both ways, especially early. I think they had 10 in the first, I don't want to say, it wasn't just the first half. They had 10 really early, cleaned it up. But for him to be playing offense, defense, just clean cut, executed very, very well. And when we got to talk to him in the press conference after, he knew. He was like, yeah, this is definitely my best game at LSU. And to be able to do that in front of his home crowd, he was asked about, how did that feel? You're playing in front of your family. And if you watch the interview we did with him, we talked about the pressure of playing in front of your family every game. So yes, it's a great thing to have your family, your extended family at all of your games, but also there's a pressure and a lot more opinions. We love family, right? A lot more opinions that come with that. He shed some light on that if you want to know more about him and how he feels about that situation and just being able to show out for his family. Check that interview out. But he spoke on it again last night, and he said, this is exactly why I came back. This is definitely what I wanted to do when I came back. And it was to be able to perform in his backyard in front of his family and friends and put up numbers like that. And damn, did he do it last night. And he they pull him aside, Mr. Kentlow, grabbing him to shoot him over to the broadcast to get the interview on the headset after. And after he did that interview, he took a few extra minutes to acknowledge and talk to his family and friends after that stellar performance. So it was really cool to see him talk, or to personally talk to him a couple weeks ago about what it means to play in front of his family, and then to see him have that kind of night last night and then go talk to his family and give hugs and dap people up. And it was really cool to see. And he told the media this is why he's back at LSU. This is what he wanted to see. You mentioned some other guys that had really good nights. Derek Fountain, Tyrell Ward, who was also in the presser. Jalen Cook had 16 points. Even Hunter Dean. And, I think he gets overlooked a little bit, but his significance on the court and the way that he plays kind of goes maybe a little unnoticed on stat sheets, but he's a big part of the way that they played last night as well. So shout out to the Tigers. I know there were a lot of doubters, and if the way they played last night can continue, people are going to shut their mouths because it was impressive. And I know that's a big win, not just for the team, for Matt McMahon, but for the LSU fan base. You can get behind that kind of play, and I hope it continues that way. Switching to women's basketball, they are also coming off of a loss to Auburn. That was their first loss in conference play, second loss of the season. They are playing Alabama in Tuscaloosa tonight. It's going to be another tough environment. You're the reigning national champions. Of course, you've got a target on your back. Their fans are going to be there. You can't really root for football right now. You got to distract yourself somehow. So I can guarantee you that it's going to be a packed game, a rough, rowdy environment. Here's a little context for you. Every road game that LSU has played so far this season has either set a program record or arena record or been a shutout. So let's hope, just to be nice, we hope they have a program record and sell it out, or arena record, but also a shutout on our side of things. I think that would be killer. They definitely need a bounce back win. Bama right now is 15-4 on the year. They are 2-2 in SEC play. They're coming off an 18-point loss to Arkansas at home, so they are also looking for a rebound win. LSU didn't come out with as much effort or energy as Auburn. Kim Mulkey acknowledged it, said that they just brought more energy, and it was clear as day. If they can rally together and lock in, get it going, clean up the rebounding a little bit, pass protection being a better passing game, I think we see another win. They get back right to where they were before the Auburn loss. All right, let's switch gears. Football, man, every day it's something. We've been trying to keep y'all updated. The last time we talked, the missing piece, right, we were joking about was Corey Raymond. Well, guess who's back? Guess who's back? Back again. Corey Raymond. Don't laugh at me, dude. Don't laugh at me. Corey Raymond is back. He is finalizing a deal to be a defensive backs coach. The anticipation, probably going to be the cornerbacks coach. I wouldn't be surprised if they freaking broke the news as we're live. But this staff that Brian Kelly has put together, now adding Raymond back, something serious. You know that DBU thing we talk about, and that's so not trademarked, but a big part of LSU football, DBU. Yeah, he's a big part of that. And to have him back on staff looks real good for the future of this defense and where or how they can turn things around for next season, considering where we were this season. He was with LSU for 10 years before Brian Kelly came in. He then coached the defensive backs at Florida under Billy Napier, I believe, right? And he's got quite the resume. When you talk about guys that he's helped produce and helped get to the next level, I'll name a few. Jamal Adams, Derek Stingley, Trey White, Greedy Williams, Grant Delpit, Christian Fulton. A lot of those names are real familiar, right? And they're at the next level. Well, he's coming back and hopefully can produce some more of those. Thoughts on the Corey Raymond hire? I know I caught you off guard.
No, it's all good. Yeah, look, I love it. I said a couple weeks ago that, or maybe just a week ago, I don't know, the days are kind of running together. But I love this hire. I was talking about what Brian Kelly was doing, bringing guys back into the program who are very familiar with it and can recruit Louisiana. Getting Corey Raymond back is, like, huge in that regard. He's a guy that recruits Louisiana really, really well. We loved talking about Corey Raymond and Frank Wilson whenever it was, like, in the Les Miles era, even through the Orgeron era. But you know, now you add Bo Davis to that. You add a lot of guys who all have that same capability, and I think it just stacks. Love to see him back in the defensive backfield or coaching it, and I think it's going to translate to recruiting.
This defensive staff is stacked. Maybe stacked is a word you use for a roster and players, but if you're going to use it in terminology related to coaching, they are stacked. And you know what? Credit to Brian Kelly for taking what he was given, looking at how the season went and where they could have been better, and going to get it done. Bringing in the right pieces, not just the players, but the coaching to get shit worked out. We're in a good position for next season for sure. Also to add, Jake Olsen is going to be the safeties coach. He comes with Blake Baker. He coached under him. He was a defensive analyst at Mizzou under Baker. So not only are you going out to get guys that you know are good at their job, there's chemistry already there, whether it's between Baker and Olsen, who coach together, whether you're bringing, and also Olsen was on Ed Orgeron's staff in 2021. You're bringing a lot of guys who have already coached at LSU, who understand the culture, the meaning, the passion that is just part of LSU football. They get it. So they're bought in, I can only imagine. To come back and coach under Brian Kelly after the year that we have, to come back from all across the country, they're bought in. Like, this is the best scenario we could be in, I think, as far as coaching on defense goes. You look like you want to say something, as always.
Well, sorry.
No, go.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that we respect out of Jay Johnson with the baseball team is he came in and he didn't try to change anything. He was like, LSU has this ridiculous baseball program already built up. Let's let the guys that are here and know the foundation, let's let us build on that and not try and change it. Right. And I think that's what Brian Kelly's doing now, and I love that. Like,
let me capitalize on what this organization and this program is. Let me bring in the right pieces that are going to be bought in, are going to fit, who get it, and who are going to be helpful to the culture, not try to change the culture. He did it. He nailed it. Again, I've said it 3 times already. We're in a very good position. Of course, a lot of things still have to fall in line, but feels real good right now, man. To be an LSU football fan, it feels really, really freaking good. An update on the defense, since we're talking about defensive staff, Jacobian Guillory is coming back. So he didn't enter his name into the draft. The deadline was Monday. Obviously, he's coming back. Now, it'll be his redshirt senior year. He's been a little bit of a rotational player, but given that Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo are gone, he may be used in a different way, a little bit more. We also don't know what's going to happen with the staff, who they're going to bring in player-wise, unless you have a little bit of insight on that. But to have him back, at least not to lose yet another veteran on this D-line is probably a good thing. You don't want completely all new faces, right? You want some guys who have been here who went through last season, because it adds a little bit more fire of like, I bet you he's real fired up to see, hey, I have an opportunity in front of me with one of the best coaching staffs, I would argue, at least on the defensive side of things for LSU specifically. But you've got a really good coaching staff. So I'm sure that he's pumped to come back redshirt senior year. Yeah,
absolutely. And in terms of the defensive line specifically, he's going to be a guy that you look for meaningful production out of next year. But only having 2 guys on scholarship returning is a little nerve-wracking. That's a weak point on the defensive front, not in terms of skill of those players, but in depth. So I think you really look for the spring transfer window. Should have a lot of guys coming in during that time.
Absolutely. I know this isn't a Bama show, but we're talking about all the pieces falling in line, right? How about that mass exodus in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, I mean,
they are burning, up in flames right now. And I gotta say, as nice as it is to see Bama finally experience what every other college program college football program has gone through at some point, to finally see them get it, kind of feels good. But you know what? I gotta credit them, because this is the first time they're having to deal with that. So yeah, they don't know what to do, but it is burning up in flames.
Are you a little bit surprised that LSU hadn't landed anybody from Bama yet?
I don't want to say surprised. I think I don't know who it's going to be, but I can't imagine that you don't nail at least one. Do you have names or somebody that you think is going to fall this way?
Not necessarily. Caleb Downs is obviously in the portal. He was like one of the best freshman defensive backs in the entire nation. Looks like he's going to Auburn. That's not like official, but if I had to put money on it, that's what I would guess. So I don't know. You have a lot of really good coaches in the SEC.
Yeah.
You just saw Mike Elko go pull somebody from A&M, got him over there. Texas just picked up a receiver. So it's I don't know. It gets really interesting in terms of transfer portal now.
If I'm a DB though, especially coming with what's going on at Bama, if I'm Caleb Downs, I'm looking at LSU at least. I'm going to come visit. I'm going to come meet the guys that are coming in. If you see a program clear staff and start bringing in these big names that have produced, who have been there before, who have been at that school before, and who have produced these players that are at the next level, I'm going to take a visit to Baton Rouge. At least let me shake your hand and chat with you for a little bit. So I'm not surprised, again, that there is no, oh, look, they're all funneling over to LSU, or we haven't gotten a couple of them. But I do expect, or not expect, but I could see maybe 1 or 2 swinging this way. We'll keep you all posted. Again, it's happened damn near every day. Something else with LSU football. We love to see it. It's all good things. But we'll keep y'all updated. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and subscribe to YouTube so that you get notifications when we go live and we're talking about all of this. Follow us again on Instagram so that you can see the graphics, and when breaking news happens, that's where we go first. And I do want to shout out the Tiger Girls one more time. I know we talked about them on Monday, but I'm so pumped. Why? Or Monday? It was Monday. Yeah, it was Monday before the 19-degree weather hit. We are getting to do some really cool content with the Tiger Girls in about an hour. You'll have to wait until Saturday to see it, but I just wanted to put it in your ear, plant the seed, that we're going to meet a couple of the girls, new national champions. They're going to be wearing their medals and their rings from 2022 for those that were already on the team. And remember I was joking, right? I was joking about, I'm going to learn the national championship dance. Oh, no, it's not a joke anymore. I'm about to learn an 8 count of that dance, and as excited as I am, that dance is hard. It wouldn't have won first place in hip-hop at UDA Nationals if it wasn't hard. So I'm slightly scared, but they're really cool. We're going to get some really good content and get to hear about their journey and the mansion they stayed in Orlando, and some of the inside jokes and the profile pictures on Instagram. If you have seen any of the Tiger Girls, they all have this like ratty little dog as their profile pic. It's a ratty dog. He looked at me like, it's a ratty dog. Like, it really is. Anyway, we're going to break it all down. We're going to get to the bottom of that and tell some stories, get to know the girls. You got to give credit to these athletes, and yes, athletes, because they won nationals this weekend, came back to Baton Rouge on Tuesday, and were in the PMAC last night, dressed, cheering, and dancing. Full on. Like, it doesn't stop for them. And we'll talk about that, about how, you know, their sport is a balance between their own skills and cheering on the other sports at the same time. Their schedules are crazy, the sacrifice it takes, the dedication it takes. So I'm really, really excited to dive into a sport that maybe gets overlooked a little bit, but deserves the limelight and the stories to be told about this team and these girls. So be on the lookout for that on Saturday. We're going to go shoot it in football ops in literally an hour. So we're going to round out here because I got to stretch and warm up, get my head right, lock in, you know. Anyway, we appreciate y'all for watching. We will be back tomorrow at 5 before LSU Gymnastics takes on Kentucky. We'll break down that meet and a recap of tonight's game against Bama for LSU women's basketball. But we appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all soon.